Time to see what the Wizards are up to.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone. Hello. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Thanks for joining. We put that graphic up to give people a few minutes to join. It looks like we have quite a few, so that's great. Let me see if there's any quick questions. Hi, we have hi from Poland. Yes, people want updates. Well, actually, I have an update. I got up early this morning and did a lot of email before we got started prepping for this call.
Debbie's workday starts at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an insomniac, so I woke up at 5 and then I just was like, well, I guess I'll get up and I'll work. And I work for a couple of hours before it's time to get our daughter up. And we got an email that they did confirm everything's on its way. So all those various shipments coming from China all made it out. We were still waiting to get like actual confirmation. Yeah. So yeah. So they didn't include all the details. There were some attachments. So we'll go in and we'll look and we'll try to give a more detailed update next week or between now and then.
On the
updates on the Kickstarters.
We'll update with the exact details.
Yeah. So it varies by region. But that was actually super exciting news. So I was really happy to read that. Just to start out, our winner from last week is from Vancouver, getting a lot of people from outside the United States, which is great. Dan Bogged. So congratulations. He won a copy of the Hero on Deck game, which is awesome. And then this week we have a new contest. You can enter to give away. We are giving away a set of command decks.
Those are command decks are super fun.
About them?
So basically, when you're playing command deck, you are playing as a legendary military leader from the Star Realms universe. Each of these commanders have two favored factions. So your starting deck actually comes with some new cards from those two factions. You also have.
Hold on, we have audio feedback.
Oh.
So let's
maybe the new mic.
Yeah. We're trying to have better audio, but we failed. It's probably we need to will that do it? How is that?
Can you how's our feedback now?
Audio, right?
No, we're good. Can you guys hear us? Yay. Okay.
Awesome.
Sorry about that.
That will help. I just muted my computer. I don't know if it was us or what, but I should have done that already. So thank you. We love getting feedback. So don't hesitate to tell us we're doing something wrong. I'm actually also trying out a better webcam, but I can see every crevice now. Forget it. I don't know.
So anyway, command deck. So you can play as a legendary commander from the Star Realms universe. Each of these guys has two favored factions. They start with cards from those factions already in their deck. And you also have gambits that you start with, and those also work with the two factions they start with. Now, when you're playing a legendary commander, you can still buy cards of any faction and add them to your deck, but you'll have an edge in a couple of the factions. And you can play the legendary commanders in a couple ways. One, these guys are really powerful. So you can play a legendary commander versus two players playing regular starting decks. So you can do a 2-on-1 battle where you have a legendary commander, two of your friends have regular Star Realms decks, and you can do a fight 2-on-1. So that's super fun. You can also do a legendary commander versus another legendary commander, and there's there's 6 different ones, so all kinds of cool matchups there. So really fun. If you don't have them already, you should check them out and try and win the contest.
Yeah, if you do have them, you can give them to a friend.
Yes, you can still enter even if you own one of these things. You can still enter and just give the prize to a friend if you win.
So we also like to talk a little bit about some of the things that are keeping us busy in the office, so you can kind of understand the behind the scenes of a board game company. And one thing that I've been working on is getting ready for the Gamma show. So I thought I would share a little bit about that, just to educate. I don't think everyone knows everything about Gamma. I know I didn't when I joined White Wizard Games. So Gamma is the industry trade association. It stands for Game I don't know what all the letters stand for, but it's basically the Game Manufacturers Association. Do you know what the extra A is?
I'm not sure. America?
If anyone knows, put it in the comments. But so every year they run Origins. So many of you are familiar with Origins, but were actually originated as the industry association for the industry for the game publishers. So the members of GAMA consist of most game publishers that you would be familiar with, and also many new publishers. It's a great place for them to come and network and meet other people. And then there's also retailer members and other people that are in the industry, like content creators, sometimes participate in the GAMA events as well. And so the GAMA, it was called GAMA, it's now called GAMA Expo, is once a year they do a trade show, which is specifically for industry professionals. So we will have a booth there. And this year, we are having a massive booth. It's actually pretty exciting because it's a virtual show. I figured, what the heck? We don't need to spare any expenses. So this is the booth I'd love to have at regular conventions. And look at our booth helpers we have here. It's really fabulous. So, if any retailers are watching or from distributors, please come and say hi at our virtual booth. There'll be a little chat on the side. You'll be a little dot on here. The avatars for the attendees are not as sophisticated looking as our booth helpers here. But so we'll meet. So there we'll have a schedule. And typically at that show, we would meet with all of our major partners. Because this is virtual, we won't meet with all of our partners because we can meet with them anytime. We like to do the face-to-face meetings at this event. So that would be, a lot of international publishers are there. Like Yellow does our games in French, and Devere, who does our games in Spanish and Portuguese and Italian.
And if you happen to be a store owner and you're not familiar with GAMA, like the GAMA trade show, really, it's a show for retailers. Like it's designed to be retailer facing. And so while, a manufacturer can go there and get some information, generally speaking, it's set up so that retailers can come to it and they can get a lot of info. They can get free free content, like free games and such, and they can learn about upcoming products, etc. So it's really designed for retailers, and a lot of stores couldn't go to it because it's in Nevada, and so it's virtual this year. So if you happen to be a store owner and you'd like to learn about upcoming products, etc., you should sign up. It's a pretty cool show.
Great opportunity. And in my experience with many virtual conventions now, my experience has been that it is easier to get meetings and to talk with people one-on-one, even easier than it would be at an in-person show. A lot of times at the in-person shows, we have people sort of, waiting, queuing up to talk to people at booths, but at the virtual conventions, it's less congested. So I highly recommend that people go to not just to the industry shows, but also to the consumer shows that are being held. There's various online shows that are happening too. So we'll meet with local game stores. Rob's presenting on our product portfolio for the year. I think we haven't finalized your presentation, but depending on what he includes in there, we might post that up publicly. Yeah. We need to figure out exactly what we're going to include in there, but so it'll be really exciting, and we are looking forward to that. So we'll be pretty busy next week going to our meetings. So that's pretty exciting. Oh, and I posted up a couple comments. Yeah. GAMA is an acronym for manufacturers. GA from game is the first two letters in the acronym.
So that A just doesn't stand for anything. All right.
So that's really interesting. I want to know who came up with that. I have no idea. But anyway, so just want to share a little bit about that. And so that's fun. And they're also doing one at Essen. If Essen Spiel is tentatively planned, and there'll be a retailer show called the Essential Retailer Show from a lot of things happening there. Essential in Essen, Germany, for retailers. That hopefully will happen in person. We'll see how that goes.
Hopefully we can be in Germany this year.
They're tentatively receiving applications for sponsorships. I know things are still pretty constrained in Germany, so I'm not sure if that will happen. But those are the kind of things that the Trade Industry Association does for us. So I've met a lot of people at these events, and we actually get to play games at the industry events more. A reminder, Rob and Darwin, they need lots of competition that they stream every Wednesday. Star Realms.
Yeah, come beat up Darwin this week. You can.
This week it's Darwin. We actually got his name added to the slide.
Oh man! I was doing half the work and getting all the credit. Now
So anyone can join. Go to the Twitch channel and you can challenge Rob or Darwin. Their usernames are very easy to remember. Rob and Darwin in Star Realms, and just do a 48-hour challenge with any sets if you want to give it a go.
I had a lot of people on last week. That was great. I got a ton of challenges during the thing, and I actually I played all those games, got beaten down by several of you off stream. So that was super fun.
So do you want to comment on the arena format?
Oh, yeah.
I've been playing some of that.
If you like to combo, you're one of those trading card players who like to build a crazy deck that just goes infinite and does super cool things, this week's arena is the format for you. This week's arena has a rule that if you scrap a card from play, like using an Explorer scrap ability, for example, you get to draw a card. Now, this is obviously pretty powerful. So now, like in the early game, you buy an Explorer, then maybe the first time through your deck, you get 2 trade, and you're like, oh, I'm 1 trade short of buying that big thing. You can scrap that Explorer, draw a card. Hopefully it's a Scout, and you get that extra trade, and you can buy the big cool thing. So that's great. But there's a sort of little side achievement you can try and do where if you've thinned out your deck, sometimes in Star Realms, you get to the point where your deck's pretty small because you've been scrapping, and you draw a lot of cards in a turn, and all the cards that you've got in your deck end up getting in play. And so if you buy something, it goes to your discard pile, and now I play a card that draws me a card. Got no cards left in my deck, so it shuffles up my discard pile.
That sounds awesome.
And then you draw that card. So if you can get to that state, and the card you buy is an Explorer, you pay 2 trade, buy an Explorer. All your other cards are in play because you've scrapped your deck, so it's very thin. Then you play a card, maybe a Blob Fighter, and it draws you a card. You've got no cards left in your discard pile, and you draw. So your discard pile shuffles into your empty deck. Now you've got a 1-card deck with an Explorer in it, and you draw it with the Blob Fighter. Then you play your Explorer, and that gives you 2 trade. You use that 2 trade to buy an Explorer. You scrap the Explorer. That special rule lets you draw a card. Again, your discard pile shuffles. You draw an Explorer. You play the Explorer. You repeat. You get to do infinite damage. So basically, there's this cool side way where you can win, where you can basically just buy Explorers and scrap Explorers infinitely, get as much damage you want, and blow your opponent up for as many points of damage as you feel like. So that's not easy to pull off. I played a bunch of games this session, and I haven't done that yet, but it is pretty cool little side thing that you can go for. But generally speaking, this week's arena, anything with the scrap ability is going to be significantly better than it normally is, because you're going to be able to use that to draw a card, and that can, that added benefit is pretty awesome.
I want to know from people watching, if this was happening to you and the writing was in the cards and you saw your opponent was just going to keep getting Explorers, would you concede, or would you let them be super excited and play out all those Explorers?
just sit down your iPad, just walk away, and let them have their fun.
Play it out personally. I don't know how other people feel, but yeah, that's how I feel in those situations. But to each is, I know some people concede immediately. Oh yeah, someone said they were 1 turn away and then they were demolished. Oh yeah.
Oh, so close to the combo.
Let them do it. Yeah. So does Game Freak. So yeah, I like to let people win if they know that. Let them go through and beat me with as much damage as they want to do. So we've had a couple of comments that'll pop up. So this week we talked in a previous weeks about the Wizards Apprentice Guild. This is our new program where you can sign up to play test our games and also to sign up to help us at things like virtual conventions, virtual demos in our Discord channel. And we had hundreds of people sign up, pretty quickly for the Hero Realms alpha testing.
Phenomenal response. Yeah.
And they were very impatient. We finally rolled it out yesterday. So I think Rob's been pretty busy in there playing.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure everything was working correctly. I jumped in and I started playing games, and now I've got a level 3 ranger and a level 3 thief, and I think a level 1 cleric. I'm still working on the cleric, but I have a bunch of games going. It's been super fun. And people have been really great. Like we've gotten a lot of bug reports, and that's fantastic. That's exactly what we need out of this. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback, which is wonderful. And most importantly, people are playing and having fun. Unfortunately, the sign up is closed right now. We basically our team is sort of at max capacity at this stage. And speaking of which, I want to do a quick shout out to Saffron and Joel. Saffron does our customer service, and Joel is on our digital team, and they have been doing a ton of work around this and been on the been responding to people. And there's obviously a lot of traffic based on this new thing because people are finding bugs and having questions, and I can't get it to upload on my device, etc. And they've done a great job on it, and they are being rock stars right now. So it's pretty
Joel
awesome.
waves and says hello. Yeah, so Joel and I were discussing, are we ready? Are we gonna make it live? Are we gonna push it out? And I said, well, let me check with Saffron and make sure she's available, because the second it goes out, they're gonna get flooded with a ton of inquiries, and they did. So they have been awesome and haven't complained at all that they can't do their regular day job. They're too busy adding people into iOS or Android I think people are having a lots of fun with it.
And it's obviously there's still a significant process of there's features we want to add. There's lots and lots of bugs to find and squash, but this is on a steady path moving forward to being a generally available app. So if you didn't make it into the alpha, or you're not, or the workload of doing the testing necessary for the alpha wasn't your thing, but you're looking forward to the game, we're working on it. It's super cool, and it is on the way. I think we have a couple of quick shots here.
I saw a comment in Discord this morning in the playtest channel saying that they were surprised how good it is for an alpha. So I'll take that as a compliment. The team will take that as a compliment. Oh, and here's the shout out again for Joel and Saffron from Game Freak, who's very active.
Yeah. Maybe we can show a couple of quick screenshots of the app.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were pointing me to the...
Yeah, so no, I just wanted to.
I'm the driver, and I never know what Rob's going to talk about.
So if you haven't seen the app, when you're playing, you get to create a character, so you can select from the various character types. You get to name your character, then create them. Then you can do games online with people with that character, or you can play offline versus we've got various offline modes as well. And you get your matchup, and then you'll gain experience points over time, and then you'll level up. And when you level up, it's just like in the physical game when you're playing in the Ruin of Thandar campaign. You get sometimes you get the ability to spend a skill point, and you can improve your skill or your ability, or add more to your health. So you can customize your character as it goes, and your skill and abilities each have a full tree of effects that you can get. So you can really customize and make your character the way you want it to be. So so the leveling is something we're really concentrating on with the Hero Realms app to help differentiate it from the Star Realms app. So it's really sweet, and we can't wait to get it out to everybody. And wanted to just do a quick thank you to our alpha testers for getting in there and kicking the tires for us, and helping us locate approximately 1 zillion bugs, I believe it was.
They're even testing this. We asked them to test very specific things like the player versus player, but they're also testing like the pass and play and things like that, and giving us a lot of feedback. So that's really good. And also just feedback on how we can make it better. So we're excited. So next, we wanted to talk about
we've got a very cool game coming up. You've heard us talk about it a little bit on the stream before, but we really wanted to give a lot more details on Robot Quest. So this is a game we're doing in partnership with Perfect Day, and they're actually a digital. They're an app company. They do apps, and they have this game they're working on, a digital version of called Robot Quest, and it happens that some of their players are big deck building fans, and they've Magic
the Gathering
and they they like obviously geeks like us, and they like all the same kinds of stuff, and they were playing some games, and when they were in the process of staffing up, they got to the point where they were stalled, where they were bringing in new staff, and they couldn't advance their app anymore, and they actually got tinkering on deck builder design in their world, and they actually met up with us at I believe it was PAX Unplugged. PAX Unplugged. The last time conventions were going, and they showed it to me, and I thought it was super cool. And then we agreed to work together, and we've taken the game over, and have been doing development on it, and sort of tweaking it and customizing it, making it more in line with our style of deck building gameplay. And in this game, it's got sort of an anime style setting, kind of a Pokemon-ish feel, where you've got young kids going around building cool robots, going on adventures with them, and battling for fame and glory. And in this board game we're making, it is taking place in the contest arena, and your bot is fighting against other people's bots. And this game is for 2 to 4 players, and is great. Is really cool at 4. You can play. It plays great 2, 3, but it's also a phenomenal 4-player game. And it's a spatial deck builder. So basically you have miniatures in the game. We'll give you a quick look at those guys. So each of the adorable robots has a cool mini, and these are going to be full color miniatures. When you're playing, you're on a board, and you move around in the space on the board, and you have various attacks that have a range. Some of them be hand-to-hand attacks, so you'd have to be right next to another robot to use them. Some are ranged attacks, so they can go a certain number of spaces over. And each turn is like a turn in Star Realms, where you've got 5 cards in your hand. You play those cards out on the table. There's no cost to play a card. You just lay them down. And some of those cards will give you the ability to move. Some of them will give you various attacks you can do. And others will give you other special abilities, and others will give you money, and you can use the money to buy new cards. So just like in Star Realms, you've got various resources, and you're using them to move around the board. And we're showing you the bots that are going to be coming with the base game. So we got 4 different bots. And they're super cool. They're super cool minis. This has kind of a video game feel to it, where basically your bot has 5 health, and you when you take damage, when you deal damage to a bot, you get victory points. So basically, your health is represented in little beads. Jump back to us. Your health is represented by little beads, and when you damage, and those beads are on you have a card for each of your robot, and you've got little counters on it representing its health. When somebody hits you or blasts you with something, and deals damage to you, you literally take those health points off the robot and you put them in their victory point pile. So when you damage somebody, basically that converts directly into victory points. If you finish off a robot, the last health bead is a different color, and it's worth an additional point. So if Debbie goes over and smashes a robot for 4, she's going to get 4 victory points. If I then hit it and do a few more points of damage, I'll only get that last point, but that one's worth double. That last point's worth double. And this has a very video game feel, where death is not a big deal at all. So when your robot is destroyed, your miniature's just removed from the table, and then on your very next turn, you just respawn. You can put your robot down in any of the starting points and just continue playing. So basically, the death is super temporary. He just takes you off the table temporarily, and then you just come right back on. You get back up to full health, and you run out and you battle some more. So it's got this very fun, frenetic feel to it. Let's show the
catch-up mechanic, or do you want to wait?
I'll get more into the mechanics in a little bit, but this is the board now. This sort of big area on the left here with all the people on it. That is actually going to have grayed out spots. That's where all the cards in the trade row will go, and your always available cards, etc., are all placed on that area. So and the area with the squares is are the spaces that you can move around on the board. The colorful squares in the 4 corners, those are the spawn points, where you can bring a robot in on the board, and then you sort of have that central area of different colors, and basically being in the center area generates you sort of victory points automatically. Just for being there, you'll gain some victory points. And so that's a nice encouragement for people to move around into the center area. There's also going to be extra tiles in the game which do all kinds of cool stuff. And so those will get placed around the board, so you can really customize your play area for the game. And we'll show you a little bit on the cards. So this is a starting deck. So you'll look very familiar to Star Realms player. So you've got 8 batteries. So these just give you an energy. So they're like a scout. You've got the hammer. It's kind of like a viper, does the damage, but it's got that little fist on it, which means it's got a range of 1. So basically, it's only for the squares next to you. So it's got to be one of the squares, the horizontal or vertical squares next to your piece. And then you've got the jump jets, and that gives you 2 movement, but the movement with the jump jets is special. You can actually leap over obstacles. So let's say there was a pit with spikes in it in between you and where you wanted to go. You could use the jump jets to fly over it. Now with the battery energy that gives you trade, it gives you the ability to buy cards from the market, just like in Star Realms. However, you can also use it for movement. So if you have 5 energy, you could use 3 of it to buy something and move 2 spaces. You could move 5 spaces. You could do any combination of powering your movement or buying stuff. And that can be really interesting, especially with those special tiles on the board, which are doing cool stuff. Oh, if I could get there, it can do cool things. Also, you can push each other around. So if you go up to another robot and you can move into their square by spending 2 energy, instead of the normal 1 to move, and you go in, you actually push them out of the square and you move in. That can be really useful. Let's say there's a like a pit with spikes, or there's a like a area that's on fire, or some crazy thing going on in the arena. You can literally like push the bot in, the enemy bot into that badness, or if they're on a good spot, you can push them out of the way. If you push a bot into a wall, you can do damage to them in that way. So that sort of the movement can be a weapon of its own. Then there's always available cards that these are the equivalent of the explorers. So you've got the advanced battery, which just gives you 3 energy, so it's a really powerful battery. You've got the rivet gun, and you can see on there it's got the cost is at the top, so its cost is 3. And then the little explosion is how much damage it does. So it does 2 points of damage. And then the little arrow is the range. So that's how many spaces away from your bot you can shoot. So you don't count the square you're in. Then you would count the next square. So if they're 1, 2, or 3 squares away, you can shoot them with that, and you can shoot in any direction. You shoot diagonally, or in any direction you want to go. And then there's the heavy hammer, which costs 2 and does 2 points of damage. Now that's a hand-to-hand weapon, so basically, again, it only hits those squares next to you. So those are those are all the always available cards. And then we've got some examples of cards you might find in the market. So like, for example, you've got the grappling clamp, which is super cool. You basically shoot it out at somebody, and then it drags them to you and does 1 point of damage in the process. So it's cost 4. Only does 1 point of damage, so it's a little, just a small attack. But that repositioning them can be huge, especially if there's something nasty in front of you, or you've got a big hand-to-hand weapon you want to hit them with. So that one's a fun one. We've got the Omni Wheels. Those give you 3 energy and allow you to move diagonally for that turn. So normally you can only move orthogonally, but in this, when you play Omni Wheels, that turn you're allowed to move diagonally. And then there's a big expensive card, the Tesla Coil. This thing costs 7. It does 2 points of damage. Only has a range of 1, so it only can hit the squares around you. But you can turn extra energy into damage with this. So if you've got some battery cards, you can power up your Tesla Coil and blast somebody for 5 all at once. Or more. Basically, you just pick, however much you want to spend, you get to do that much damage. Now, overkilling a robot does not get you extra victory points. You only get the victory points, of their health. So that's sort of a quick overview of Robot Quest. We're super excited about it. It's got some. We love the art style. It's got obviously a cartoony anime feel. So very different from like some of the art in our other games, but each of our games sort of has a style. Like the Realms games tend to be very full of color in their artwork, but fairly realistic. The Sorcerer artwork is grim and beautiful, and the Robot Quest stuff is got this great cartoon, great anime cartoony feel to it. We've got the Kapow stuff with its 80s comic book style feel. So So yeah, we're super excited about it. The game is really fun, and that whole like board and moving around thing really does it adds a really cool element to the game.
So there was a question about, this sounds really cool, how far through development is it?
So pretty much done. This is going, we have this scheduled to be coming to Kickstarter relatively soon. We've got different teams working on the different projects. We have a team working on the Robot Quest stuff. We've got a different team working on the Hero Realm stuff. We're actually debating, okay, which of these Kickstarters are we doing first based on how far along we are with our, our different teams and stuff. But basically, Hero Realms and Robot Quest are our next two Kickstarters coming out. Basically, game design is done. The miniatures are. The miniatures are designed. We are still in we're at the 3D models for all the miniatures are done. We've done grayscale prototypes of some of them. Now our next stage is going to be doing the next round of prototypes of
more play testing.
And,
that's why Robot Quest was one of the games that you can
of course play testing. And so basically we're at the stage where the game development is done, and we're moving on to the play testing portion of the game. Cards are all designed, artwork's done. It's very close to to printer ready. It'll take a little extra time because we're dealing with miniatures here. So there's going to be some iterations, but we're ahead of the game. We already have the 3D models done, so they exist as files that printers can use to create them. So that is Robot Quest. We are super excited about it. I think we've shown off this before, but here's a mock-up of the box as a playtest copy. Super cool game.
And we had a couple other questions. If anyone else has any quick questions, please, you can post them in. There was a question about, you're going to share more sorcerer lineages or things on the stream?
So we are absolutely going to be sharing more sorcerer stuff. I don't have one for today because we have, limited amounts of time. Actually going to be hopping off soon to sign up our daughter for summer camp.
Yeah, I'm wearing this shirt to remind me that I have to be on a website by noon to register our daughter. Otherwise, she'll be joining us on every stream all summer. I already missed multiple. Oh, that's my alarm. I missed a couple of the other camp signups, and this is my last chance. So. We've got all kinds of cool sorcerer stuff. I've been working my way through all the various sets, doing the balancing tweaks that will happen prior to the playtesting rounds. So our graphic designers have all the files from Peter. He's designed everything. And I've been going through and making some minor balance edits. And then again, handing them back to the graphic designers. They've been applying those edits. That's getting handed off to the people who are going to be programming it into Tabletop Simulator. And because of COVID, we're not getting together in person. So basically, that stuff's going to be put into Tabletop Simulator. Backers are going to get to play with the new content early, very soon. We're getting that up on Tabletop Simulator shortly. You guys will test it and, let us know if there's any concerns or issues, or, and we'll also get your win-losses. And so we can look at bigger data with, okay, this particular deck has this win ratio, this one has that win ratio, and hopefully we'll get enough games where we can parse that into, okay, this one might need a little boost, or this one might need a little nerf. But that's the process, and we are going to continue to share. So next week on the stream, we're going to have another deck to share. I'm not sure which one it'll be, but I will pick one of the many decks that we have,
and we will be sharing more.
Awesome. So Dean had asked earlier in the stream, but you were in the middle of talking about another topic
I was
about
monologuing.
the arena modes.
Yeah.
Is there any thoughts about putting those into the physical game? And he mentioned that he thinks there's some cards like that.
Yeah, so basically
probably the
we
scenario
have scenario cards, which is actually that was sort of the genesis of these arena formats. So initially, when we were building arena formats, we just took the scenario cards and we implemented them in. Obviously, we do arena every week, and we want to now we go back and we revisit formats and such. But we like to throw in new mechanics. So every month, we usually have at least one brand new mechanic in there. And at some point, we're going to make scenarios pack 2, and we're going to include a bunch of the scenarios from the app that make sense in a physical setting. Now, sometimes in the app, we can do something really weird, which is impossible to generate physically. But most of them could be duplicated for physical play. So that is something that we'll swing back around to.
So on the Hero Realms app, will there be the ability to play without characters?
So right now, the answer to that question is no. So basically, we're concentrating on the play with characters. Now, at some point in development, we may throw that in because that's a pretty easy easy thing to add on, or maybe it'd be like an arena format equivalent or whatever. But basically, we really want to focus on the characters and the character development, because that's the thing that really separates out Hero Realms from the base play. And we want to not split our player base. So basically, as the player base grows, as more and more people are playing the Hero Realms app, we can go ahead and add sort of weird ways to play, or here, play without characters, do this. But obviously, if one player is playing without character, their opponent has to play without a character. So if we create that from the beginning, then we'll have basically 2 online play lobbies, one for with and one for without characters. And that can really increase the time to get a match and just be generally bad for people's play experience. So for now, no, it's something we could definitely easily add in the future. But to be honest, we probably will not add it until the player base is large enough that we're not concerned about fracturing it.
Yeah, and Game Freak says that's understandable. And you'll get to know all the characters. It's so easy to just play them over and over and try all the different ones out. So you'll become really familiar. It'll get easier over time. I know it's more complicated.
You can also play with the characters offline, like versus the AI, and just sort of learn them that way. So you don't have to worry about jumping into online play with a character you're unfamiliar with. You can kick the tires with them on the offline play.
So are command decks coming to Star Realms? Yes, they are. I don't know the timing on that off the top of my head, but I know it's in the works, and that's one of the next things to be rolled out.
Yeah,
the tournaments will be rolled out before command decks.
Yeah, it's in progress, but not. But they're not. It's not imminent for the commanders.
So we had multiple people ask. I think they joined late about the updates to the dates for Epic and High Alert.
So as Debbie mentioned earlier in the stream, we got confirmation that our product was actually on the ships that they were scheduled to be
on the way.
It's very frustrating that it takes that long to actually get confirmation. But so the dates from the last update are currently, to our best knowledge of when they'll be available. We're gonna get more details, and we'll post an update with those additional details. Keep in mind, there is still the random mystery of customs in each country we're going to. So basically, we can have whatever schedule we want. If our container gets flagged for a customs search, it can take as much time as it takes, and ports are fairly backed up.
That's
and
a big issue.
But good news is product is on their scheduled ships. It is en route, should be arriving in countries, soon. Then we have to deal with customs. We have to deal with clearing the port. We have to deal with shipment to the fulfillment center. We have to deal with in-processing into the said fulfillment centers. And then the fulfillment centers actually have to start, shipping out, packing up the individual packages and shipping them out to backers. So we still have many logistical hurdles along the way, but currently, knock on wood, things are going smoothly, and we are en route. So yeah, hopefully we'll be getting those in your hands very soon. We can't wait. There's some pretty cool stuff in there.
Okay, so really quick answers on these, Rob. Will there be another monster in the Hero Realms Kickstarter, like the Lich or Dragon?
So not in this next Kickstarter. There's going to be some really cool stuff that you will get to play against, but there will not be a new boss deck in this next Kickstarter. However, new boss decks are a thing that we will do eventually. So not in this Kickstarter, but there will be more.
Yeah. And then last question, will the bots be able to level up like the characters can in Hero Realms?
So we don't have any leveling up for the bots. They each have their own cool, unique custom abilities, which we will get into on a future episode. But they're asymmetric. They do each bot does the different things. So there's in the game there's a bot driver combinations. The team of friends that play in these arena battles, and each one of them has a unique thing that they are good at. So when you're playing your bot, it'll be different from the other bots on the field. So it's got a little bit of that character pack feel with that, but it doesn't. You don't level up, at least not in this stage of the game. Perhaps down the road we might make some expansions for that. But
sounds like
now,
a pretty cool idea to me. Bot driver combos. Yeah, that's cool. So I think those are all the questions that we have. And if we missed your question, please bring it up on the next one. I think I got all of them. And I did want to mention, because we said, as Debbie said earlier, we don't mind at all if you come for a few minutes and you aren't able to be here at the beginning. We know people are really busy, and we appreciate you coming for any amount of time that you're able to come. Don't worry about asking the same question. Sometimes we get asked if a Hero Realms digital app is coming like 3 or 4 times, but I think people have stopped asking now that we've shown it.
Yeah.
So please don't mind asking your questions. We really, really love having people ask questions and be active. And one other thing, I heard this morning from Saffron that our YouTube channel is almost at 3,000 subscribers.
Oh, nice.
And they asked to do a little shout out for it. So if you aren't subscribed to our YouTube channel, if you could do us, if you like what we say and things and want to see more of our videos, you can pop over there and subscribe. I'm sure they'll post a link below. And one other question. Will there be more Tabletop Hero Realm streams?
I'm sure eventually.
Yeah. So, actually, I want to talk about that. So with the play testing and also just demoing and teaching people how to play the games, I'm working on, I want to schedule like 2 different 2-hour time slots each week. One, earlier in the day for people who are in different time zones, and one in the evening, likely. We're in the East Coast time, but I know a lot of people are in other parts of the world, so that you can come and we'll have people there that can help you if you have questions about any of our games. And if you want to play test games to help pair you up, and we'll have specific games for specific sessions and kind of rotate them. So you'll hear more about that. But I need to wrap up now.
See y'all next week.
I have to go sign my child up for summer camp. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.